Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Sunday, April 10th. So today we have the moon moving into Leo energy. Of course, yesterday we had our first quarter moon in Cancer. Definitely kind of struck us in the wrong way. Many of us kind of irritable, frustrated. That first quarter moon obviously illuminates where it is that we have to take action, where things are changing very rapidly, especially where the home and the family dynamics are concerned, where boundaries are being tested, where new foundations need to be built. And that pressurized energy of that first quarter moon is now being released. And what a better way to release that energy than to have the moon moving into Leo. Leo, of course, is a fire energy. We are in Aries season, so we are having fire on fire. Leo energy likes to lighten the load, likes to be a little bit more playful, likes to not be so serious. We want to engage in fun activities. We want to entertain. We want to be sociable. We want a little bit of attention. And caution, we can get a little bit extra, a little bit too dramatic in seeking that playful, entertaining attention. But at the same time, we are coming out of what was definitely an energetic funk. So we will take all the good vibes, all the positive vibes that we can get. So today we also have Mercury moving out of Aries and into Taurus. It won't be taking place until pretty much the end of today. So again, anytime that a planet is moving from one sign to the next, it means that they are spending a very large amount of time in their last days in the final degrees before moving into the next sign. The 29th degree of any sign is a crisis degree. It's a critical degree. It puts the pressure on us. There adds an intensity to the mental plane in order for us to wrap up the life lessons that, of course, Mercury in Aries brought us. I did put out a video, an astro forecast for what Mercury in Taurus is going to bring us. I would definitely recommend you go take a listen so that you are prepared on what is going to take place in our mental plane with the new information coming in, with the new ideas and thoughts coming in, and what we can expect to do with that energy over the next couple of weeks. So there are 6 different aspects taking place here today, and 4 of them involve the moon, a semi-quiet day in the cosmos, if I do say so myself. But we do start off with Mercury, again, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information and communication, making its very last aspect while in Aries energy, and it's a very intense aspect. It's a square, it's a conflict, it's a tension point with Pluto, the great transformer. So here's the thing. This particular energy, because we're wound for sound, okay, because there's this pressurized energy in our mental plane, again, Mercury's time in Aries has put a lot of pressure in our heads. Energy coming in from the crown, pressure in our ears, clenching our jaw. Again, if you haven't listened to the ascension forecast for the week, please go do that so that you can expect what kind of physical symptoms that are probably going to creep up as the energy peaks throughout this week. But all of this energy has really been going nowhere. We've been having sporadic thoughts, sporadic ideas, jumping around. Nothing seems to make sense. No thoughts are complete. We have a hard time making plans. This is very much the Mercury in Aries energy. Mars, the ruler of Aries, applies this aggressive pressure. That's why we're feeling this pressurized intensity in our mental planes. And when Mercury teams up with Pluto, the great transformer, we are definitely looking to make a shift in our mental plane, in our understanding, in our comprehension of some of the events that have transpired and some of the fragmented thoughts and ideas that are still bouncing around in our head. Now, this can put us in a very suspicious, obsessive type of mindset. We don't feel like we are getting the information that we need from maybe the people in our lives, the situations, the circumstances in our lives, in order to make an informed decision on where it is that we want to go from here. The suspicion arises because we are probing, not only within ourselves, but within our conversations. We're very obsessed with trying to make the connection, trying to have this, pivotal understanding. There's a lot of darkness that tends to come up when Pluto is involved. So our insecurities are peaking, our fearful thoughts are peaking, our negative narratives are peaking, and we feel very pressurized because this is the final degree that Mercury's currently sitting in Aries. We are very pressurized to be heard, to have our thoughts acknowledged, our ideas acknowledged. And the problem is that we tend to be a little bit pushy and aggressive with our thoughts and opinions. And we are just damn well determined to have people not only hear us, but to agree with us. And many people are not in agreement with us right now. This can frustrate us to the nines. And it really kind of puts another fork in the road, if you will, especially where conversations are being had. So we have to kind of recognize that we can get very paranoid because we don't think that we're getting the truth. We can get very suspicious of what other people are saying because we don't think that they are being honest and genuine in what it is that they are saying to us. And when we look into ourselves to do that deep, dark probe within our psyche, we're really kind of trying to flip the rocks in the darkness in order to see what maybe we have hidden from our own consciousness within us. There are pieces of the puzzle that our unconscious has gone to great lengths in order to hide. And those puzzle pieces are now kind of asking to be illuminated, to be brought into awareness, to be brought into our consciousness so that we can start clicking them together and painting a bigger picture on why it is that we think the way we think, why it is that we feel the way that we feel, and why it is that we keep getting stuck in these very insecure, paranoid, obsessive mental loops. The moon is going to bump into the true node in a very positive way, though. The true node, of course, is trying to show us the path forward, making plans for the future, making, strategic type of edits to our narrative that, of course, we're being illuminated to right now, that our mental plane, our narrative is actually one of the greatest blocks that we are facing and trying to make the progress that we've been hoping for. The moon making this aspect with the true node is going to lighten the mood, definitely lighten that mental narrative that we will likely struggle with for the wee hours, early hours of the day. But we are going to see a lighter tone, a greater, grander vibration take over where, we do want to become a little bit more playful, where we don't want to be so serious, where we don't want to focus on the shadow work. We want to kind of just live in the moment, see if we can have fun in the moment, and in kind of letting loose and raising the vibration, there are going to be some aha moments that actually get downloaded in our mental plane in order for us to see what it is that we want to do next, where it is that we can take a step forward. The moon is going to bump into Venus, though, in not the nicest way. Usually in this particular aspect, it is going to create a situation in our exterior realms that we don't have control over, but is taking place as an activator, as a trigger in our physical realms and our circumstances in order for us to really show ourselves and the universe that we have learned something, that we are going to act as the observer, that we are going to not react from ego. And this is likely going to take place in a very, very personal relationship. Venus, of course, the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure, is in Piscean energy. So she just wants to live. She just wants to have a good time. She just wants to focus on, the light, fluffy things in life. But of course, there's a lot of dark undertones really showing her where it is that some dramatic changes and transformations need to be made within herself, her own self-confidence, her own self-worth, in order to not only level up herself, but to level up the personal relationship aspect. The energy exchange in some of our personal relationships have gotten out of whack. We've been working very hard to try and balance that out. And the moon bumping into Venus in this way, creating this activator, creating this situation in our physical realm, is really going to put us in a situation to be a little bit more expressive with those that we need to communicate very empathetically and compassionately with, in order to let them know where it is that our heart is telling us to make these changes, where it is that we need more safety and security in our personal relationships. The moon in Leo, although very playful, very entertaining, and semi-dramatic, really just wants to express oneself from the heart space, from the heart chakra. So this particular aspect is definitely going to be an empathetic conversation that is needed in order to really express oneself, what it is that we feel like we're lacking, what it is that we need from the people in our lives, in order to kind of come to a grounded meet point where we can essentially start fresh. The moon, though, is going to make a little bit of a tension point with both Jupiter and Neptune. Of course, Jupiter and Neptune, both in Pisces energy as well. They are preparing to come together for the first time in a very long time on the 12th. So they're sitting very close to one another in the zodiac wheel, only degrees, literally, away from each other at this time. Jupiter, of course, wants us to grow, wants us to expand, wants us to focus on the silver linings of some of the darker situations that we've gone through. Being in Pisces energy, this is about a deep understanding of the spiritual lessons that we had to go through in order to prepare us for this next chapter. That Neptune energy, though, wants us to focus on our soul self, our intuition, what it is that we're being guided to do, what it is that the new mission, the new purpose within us is inspiring us to actually chase new soul contracts, new timelines, new experiences. The moon in Leo, again, trying to keep things light and fluffy, but in this very kind of tension-filled aspect with both Jupiter and Neptune, things can get a little bit extra. Just like I said earlier, the moon in Leo, very playful, very entertaining, seeks attention, and can be very dramatic in seeking attention as well. We have a lot to say. We want to speak freely. We want to express ourselves. And because Jupiter, the great magnifying glass here, is illuminating whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling, we can definitely be overcome with emotions. This is when we can expect things to peak. If there is drama that needs to be created, drama will be created underneath this influence, but it is going to put us in a little bit of an overwhelming situation with trying to figure out what it is that we're actually feeling, what it is that actually needs to be said, what it is that we're actually seeking when it comes to the attention that we're craving from other people. And then lastly, towards the end of the day, Mercury will be moving into Taurus. Again, please go listen to that astro forecast, but we can expect as the day progresses, as the day kind of, comes to an end, that we are going to feel very heavy, very weighted in our headspace. We might even have that bobblehead feeling that I talked about in the ascension forecast for this week, where our head is just little bit too big for our bodies, not in an ego sense, but we just went from that pinball machine bouncing all around to now being very calculated, very strategic in our thoughts, in what it is that we're allowing to take place in our mental narrative. So we're definitely going to have a little bit of a deeper sleep than normal, and we're going to wake up fresh tomorrow morning with a totally different perspective and a fresh set of eyes.